Episode 998 of No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, on the countdown to 1,000 on Tuesday. Welcome. And this is a show where I talk with you about a salary negotiation strategy that very few people use but works very well. And I chose not to include this in my new Skillshare class about negotiating. I think I cover it indirectly in a variety of different ways in there, but it's coalesced here in a solid manner. Hope you find this helpful. Hope you give it 5 stars in iTunes or Stitcher. Again, I mentioned Skillshare. I have a class now on salary negotiation. Variety of different tactics I recommend. You can pick the one or ones that will work for you because you know your personality better than I do. Anyway, now let's get going. Most people get a clear idea of what they do, what they need in the negotiation. And if you haven't, you need to think at the very beginning of your search, at the very beginning of your process. What's most important to you in the next job or organization? What will you need to see or hear to believe it's a good choice? And write it down. And you can do that now while you're about to enter into this negotiation, but it would have been best if you'd done it at the very beginning of your job search. So you get a clear idea of what you want out of this process and can horse trade from there. Now, once you get into negotiation, most people have a clear idea of what they want. And that's okay. It's an important step to take. But you need to understand what they want, why they chose you. And you can do that at the time of the offer. Even if they haven't made the offer, they're doing the formality stuff. They suggest that they're going to make an offer. You can say, hey, out of curiosity, why don't you guys choose me over my competition for this role? Because what that does is it gives you an advantage. Now, most people keep their negotiation with HR, who's very much by the book and budget oriented in how they approach things. But sometimes if you get stalled in your conversations with HR, you can go to the hiring manager and get more concessions. Even if they're unofficial concessions, you can get concessions from he or she that's going to allow you to make the deal if you understand why you were chosen. After all, if they say, well, I've got a budget, I said, how would that affect you if you had to go back from the very beginning and start your search? Like, I want to join, but I need a little bit more in the way of cash. And if you figure out that, you're going to have to interview from the very beginning to get the best person, because you don't want to hire number two. Number two wasn't good enough in your estimation. Why would you take the second choice? They're not as good. So if you go back and look for the best choice, it's going to take you time. We can come to a decision now. So can you be flexible enough on this point? And if they can't, that's around money, could you be flexible enough to give me a salary review within constraints? They may say, no, we can't because of corporate policy. Is there a place where you can be more accommodating? Like you do pay a bonus, and perhaps if everyone in the group is due this bonus, could you do this plus a little bit more to compensate? Or could you do a sign-on? You see what I'm going to? Sometimes HR can't do that deal because they don't care as much as the hiring manager does. So if you understand why it was you, why they chose you, what's in it for them to pick you, that's information that you can use as part of your bargaining that's going to advantage you to stretch the negotiation to your advantage a little bit more. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here's a few ways to engage with me. First of all, I just want to say that I no longer do recruiting. I coach people to perform at a high level. So again, I no longer do recruiting. But if you visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us, look at the tabs on the top and you'll see a menu of choices for you. First of all, you can hire me to do a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique, interview preparation, helping you with a salary negotiation, answering your question, advising you about a decision you have to make about job offers. That's all there as an option. I can do a job search makeover with you where we critique everything you've been doing in your search up until that point and come up with alternatives. If you're relatively early in your search, we can do a complete coaching program where I work with you from beginning to end. It's in half-hour increments, so it doesn't take a lot of time in each session, and that's another way you can do it. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love hearing with folks who like the show and are interested in my help. Lastly, I also want to mention I've got a lot of information at thebiggamehunter.us, and at times it seems like it's too much. So you can look at the best of my material at JobSearchCoachingHQ.com, where I have curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read that'll help you find work more quickly. Again, that's JobSearchCoachingHQ.com. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, hope you have a great day. Take care.